Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. Then I have mentioned to topic was and the cover of the geography section, then move of the art and culture and the polity, economics and overall all subject and quick revision of these sections. So then as you have the also the I have only for main section can be described, not as the prelims as well as mains only, because there is the coral reefs ask also the mains examination, then others soil also asks the examination, then you have recover and a lot of practice of mains examination, then you have relevant to find out the how to practice the mains examination, because the 10 question of the 150 words you write down and 10 question of the 1 to 50 words you write down. Then the marks given of the 10 to 10 marks, and then you have realized 15 markers. So then you have divided up the time to according to the marks, and then you have given only 6 minutes, and then you have given only 9 minutes or 7 yeah 9 minutes you have, then okay, then you have 1.5 hour first 10 question, then 1.5 hour given second question. So then move on the factors. परमानेंट मटेरियल्स क्या है? The factor of the soil's formation. Why the factor soil formation? Why to need of the soil? The permanent materials and the topography, climate क्या है, biometric क्या है, timing क्या है. So then you have realized the permanent material soil formation denote to the texture of structure as well the chemical composition. You have realized a sort of the topography क्या होनी चाहिए, climate condition क्या होनी चाहिए, and the biological activities क्या होनी चाहिए. A lot of differences you have climate and the biological activity क्या होने चाहिए, the class the soil and the significance, the soil layers and the significance. First portent and the topographic climate and the biotechnology, that is the bioto and the timing क्या होनी चाहिए, the moisture humidity. Then you have realized you have drawn this figure on this mains examination, lot of question and the solve, because you have the examiner know your copy, you have a person a lot of reading newspapers as well as something you have read first, then you have a draw on this picture, then examiner will be understand, then the organic of the origin because is the property, and ओ ए ई बी सी ई कोर सेक्शन हो गया. Coastal rock with the little of the weathers, poor weather and the materials of the less affected, and the exhumation clay and the organic matter metal oxide over the mixtures of glassy and the length of the collar and elevated the top most material organic soil. Then you have this time submission subtopic organic and solution David. Then I have define lot of the zonal soil, and what is the zonal soil, the three mains of the class which is the soil based of the zonal section, zonal, interzonal, azonal. The well developed of the soil influence to the climate measure soils of the factor can be the subzonal of the tsunami soils like the free soil. Well developed soil where the soil is the factor such as the permanent and the material is the dominant as the imitative properly developed of the soil, the activity is soil plane of the soil newly and developed of the different marine regions have various soil. Then you have read the zonal soil, interzonal, azonal. The classified of the soil in India. Then the National Bureau of Soil Investigations of the National Bureau of Soil Survey of the Land Planning to Institution Control of the ICRAR. That is the formation, what is the location, the soil health card, the given, and the also then the like 3 or 4 types of the soil in Indian contribution. First, your alluvial soil, then the fa- the former rivers of the deposition sedimented through the mouth of the train, because there is the India and the Ganga is the mouth of this, and the mouth and the alluvial Khadar and the older deposited and the Bongar called, because your Khadar is the oldest called of the new, because this is the river and depositions of the soil, and the oldest rocket, that is the this type, that is the newly rand called of the Khadar, and the oldest deposition called of the Bangar, and the alluvials were most of the west part of the northern plain of the 20 to 80% of the total area through the narrow corridor of the Rajasthan and textures of this the plain of the Ganga and the peninsular region of the fountain of the delta and the river of valley. This is the soil is the luminar in the more clear and the lower and middle Ganga plain and Brahmaputra region. This is the Ganga plain and the also the Brahmaputra regions. And the sand contact decreased to the west east and the reach of the potash maximum, and the potash and phosphorus and the lot cultivation. Then move on the other section, regular soil and the black soil, because the also called of the black soil, the formation of like Maharashtra and Karnataka, MP, the cotton के लिए maximum cultivation, these areas of the black soil areas. The formation of the volcanic lava, because the volcano can be erupted, and the then molten magma can be the molded and solidified and then converted to the hardy rock called of the black soil. Then the lava converted in the black soil, and the high content of the humerus and the colors of the black and the Deccan Plateau. This is the your Deccan Plateau. Deccan Plateau is the upper reaches of the Godavari regions and the Krishna, and the northern western part of the Deccan Plateau in the black depositions. Then you have the the also soil is the known as the self plowing, because this soil can be also captures of the self, because there is the lot of maximum moisture can be captured, and then he have the retain of the moss, and the soil also self captures plowing and the nature and the clay deep and the impermeable rocks, and there is the stainless drink water during the dry season. Soil developed of the crack and the retain of the moisture very long of the cracks, especially red and yellow soil, that is the weather as the crystal granite and increasing rock originating and to lay off rain for years, because there is the maximum rainfall in, and this is the also founded of the eastern part, and some part of these the maximum rainfall in this the fallen and the part of Deccan Plateau also, and the Western Ghat and then eastern part of the Deccan Plateau, and the also zonal Western Ghat. A long structure of area is the relief. This is the radical colors and the wide dispersers in the increasing of the matter in the rock. Then other property is the rocks in the radical colors in the wider, and the crystals of the metallic rock in the color of the yellow in nature, and the hydrated from in the generally mineral like iron, red iron, because the red oxide के कारण that is the color of red, and the limestone, potash, and the poor of the content of nitrogen, phosphorus, and humus. Laterite soil, and that is the formation under the special monsoon condition climate under the such as the leaching soil splicing, and the reduce of the silica content, and the soil leaching is the soil riches in the iron and aluminum content, iron and aluminum Fe, and the human content of the soil removed to the forest bacteria thin. This is the temperature high. There is the organic matter of the nitrogen, phosphorus, and the calcium oxide, iron oxide, and the phosphorus content, and the sustainable at the however the application of the measures. Then move on the other sections like your the fertile cultivator and the cultivation, red laterite and the Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and the Kerala as a tree crop cultivation. It is the brick and the house use of the construction. Your laterite soil. This is the founded on the Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Andhra. These are the saline soil. Saline soil is the also founded of the saline areas like Gujarat, Rajasthan, Sambar Lake. That is the larger productions of the sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Sodium, potassium, magnesium, and the entire agree to the growth. More than the salt largely becomes the dry climate, poor drainage, the lack of the nitrogen and calcium and nitrogen calcium. That is the founded arid and the semi-arid region. That is the also semi-arid and arid in the Gujarat and the West Sundarban. Gypsum is the also added the peat and the moisture. Marshy soil. Marshy is the like a mangrove soil. The peat and the marshy soils. This is the mangrove forest soil, arid soil, the founded at the heavy rainfall like West Bengal, humidity of the Kerala, Odisha, Bengal, coastal of the area in Tamil Nadu, largely of the dead of the organic matter, and these are the richest human and organic soil. That is the wages, and you have realized and weather is the climate many and the places. Peaty and marshy soil also called the mangrove soil, also mangrove one also founded. Then the forest soil, you have realized the forest is the mountain range is the Himalayan and Arunachal Pradesh. This is the India and the Sahadri. It is the surface of the rainforest, and the soil is the luminy and the silty and the side of the grounded upper lower slope. That is the bed and the fertilizer soil and the slope soil and the thin in the left productions. This soil also founded in Himalayan region, Arunachal Pradesh also. Then arid soil. Arid soil is the deads of the accelerated weather rocks and the places on the ground the heating of the during the day of the cooling during the night. Because there is the rock and the day is the cooling, day is the heating and the night is the cooling. Then the weathering and the rock can be the broken. Rock can be broken at the smally piece of the structures. Then your arid soil, the capture holding is the moisture, nitrogen surface. Then move on the other topic. You have you have learned this soil. You are different types of the soil. You have must be know. First is the forest soil. You have know the forest soil in the coverage these areas. Then other alluvial soil. This is the rain soil because the maximum is the river part. This is the Ganga and Brahmaputra river. Then is the red and the yellow soil. Red soil also this soil. This soil, red soil, and the black soil only for Maharashtra and thoda mother. Laterite soil I have also mentioned. This is the also arid soil also founded in the semi-arid area. You have realized this of the tropical of Cancer, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Lakshadweep, and Andaman Nicobar. These are your soils. You have realized and lot of you have the draw the teacher and the convert good marks. And the soil of desertification, because soil and desertification of the soil desertification defined to the decline of the soils. Sorry, that is the my today is the app can be not to work it, and then I have move on the other topic. Sorry for that. Cancel it, and then you have move on that topic. What is the soil, because I have read out this topic like a soil. Sorry, I forget it. I find out, then I have. Why you are not coming, mineral resource, ocean. Why are you going on the soil? Different types of irrigation system also had, and I have quick to the intent of the jazz. These are the soil sections. Desertification, I have mentioned it. Soil desertification defined to the decline of the soil quality of the soil fertility degree of the soil decreasing of the various regions of the region according to the topography, wind, and the precipitation, then other in the factor. The soil degradation including to the soil erosion, physical degradation, chemical and depositions of the soil. Then move on the other sections. You have also this. You have the diagram, what is the causes of the, what is the regions kya hai. Then the soil degradations can be the overgrazing because the maximum the cattle can be the grazing of the field, and then the grown or the lot of less. Then the deforestation, because the people is the cutting the tree. And the industrialization, because the land holding is the capacity is the less than the maximum the building can be the developed, and the factory can be the grown and the cut down the forest and then developed. And the increasing of the flooding, because the increasing of the flooding, the deforestation can be the also the forest and the agriculture activities like zoom cultivation. Then you have the cutting the tree, and then the move on the other section, then the cutting the tree, and then I move on the other section that lot of the tree can be the cutting. And the over exploitation of the fluid, then you have using of the foods like you have the lost the cotton. And then you have the types of deforestation, the types of the soil degradation, because you have the soil degradation to the capture of the types of the soil degradation. The soil degradation is the classified of the two main types of the degradation, water erosions and the wind erosions. You have know the water erosion can be the capture the rivers, a lot of sediments and deposit of the mouth and the river, that is the humidity in the natures. And the wild area, the humidity and the humerus also infilled in the water. The water erosion is the means of the soil particulars and the related to the splash and the erosion cause of the rain dropped and the affected to the running water, that is the eroded influenced by the four factor and the repressions and the soil use. And then the what is the types of erosions, you have learned that. To move on these four types of the erosion by the water. So you have know the water erosions, the sheet erosion. You have learned out the sheet erosion, how to the sheet erosion. You have seen this particular image, this sheet erosion. The water can be the capture and then the go through the pass on these types, and the sediments can be the deposit this side and then the lay down and the deposit of the rivers in the mouth of the means. When is the fairly unfair, the layer soil is the removed to the entire of the surface in this surface, and the reel erosion. You have no a reel. Reel is the flow of the rivers on the ground of. You have the rain droplet and the land areas, and the maximum the high rain is the flooded. There's the cutting of the soils that of the reel. The uh, reel is the occur also the known as the occur, where the water running in the very small channels and the soil surface is the ability to transport and the particulation and the deeper increasing to the channel of the surface. Then the and gully, you have seen this gully. You have also seen the villager peoples and also the gully. Gully is the types of erosion occur when then the real flow further together make to the larger stream and trend to the deeper succession to the flow water, and because the major is of the cultivation. Really is the you have the from the water is the maximum stream, then the water and the maximum stream, then the eroded of the maximum. Then the bank of erosion, you have seen this, the bank of erosion. You have seen the rivers, and then the first you have know the rivers in this form. Then the rivers can be the deposit and the eroded. This part can be the eroded and this part can be the deposit of the sediment. This type deposit and this part eroded. Then you have bank is the causes of the wetting cutting into the bank and the stream. The rivers can be the very seasonal time to the larger flood in the cause of the major disputing of the property. Then you have realized your seat, reel, reel and gully and the bank. Then you move on the wind erosion. Wind erosion, how to the work and the wind erosion. You have the only the one through the wind erosion, that is the wind move on. The sediments can be the particular thing, then the wind can be the deposit of the sediments, then lay down, and then you have found out the deposit of this side, that is the like a barkhan, oxbow lake, and the other maximum deposits inside. Then the wind is the common causes of the land degradation and the arid and the semi-arid grazing land. That is the process of leading to the deforestations and the refer to the erosion and the significant and the erosion occur the strong wind blow and the light to the textures in the soil with the variety or the great dumping of the drought. This is your cloud can be the rain fallen in this time, and then then eroded because the winter you can be the heated up, and then the winter your day and night is the cooled and the wind, then the broken of the part, then the eroded and the coming to this section, and the maximum lot of sediment, then the depositions of the ocean. That is the soil content of the erosion to the vine. Then you have more to revise on these sections. You have go through you have revised it. The basic of the soil the permanent materials, the topographic climate, the basic activities, the soil layers of the significant, the soil cap maintenance, what is the biotic, and then you have realized the zonal, interzonal, what is the zonal, then you have realized soil classification, visual soil, regular soil, black soil, red soil, yellow soil, laterite soil, saline soil, under the soil, and peat and marsh soil, then the forest soil and the arid soil. Then the map you have understand how to the soil, the contribution, which part of the India, and the soil degradation. What is the soil degradation? What is the causes? What is the significant? What is the relevant for this examination? Then the types of the degradation by the wind, by the land, by the wind, by the water, and also the causes, what are the water, then the water causes and the water erosion, the seat, rail, gully, ravine, bank, and the winds. That is the end of the you have know all the topics and the figure also. Then meet to next video. Thank you for watching this video.